doing something a little bit different. Going to do a bike cleaning demo with Van Dam Racing. There's a lot of videos on how to wash bikes coming out of the pro peloton, but the difference is the pros don't pay for their bikes, so they look after them a little bit differently. So all our bikes are the boys' own bikes, so we make sure we look after them. So we're here after stage 3 of the Tour of King Valley. So if you haven't caught the highlights of that, it's pretty much all centered around some dirt roads. So I think there was 5 dirt road sections. Unlike last year, it was just really dusty today, so it's not as muddy as we were, but the bikes still need a fair bit of love. Van Dam Racing supported by Pedalit, which is an Australian-based company just out of Albury, which is not too far down the road from here. Not only Australian-owned, but Australian-made, and most of their products are biodegradable and super environmentally friendly. Part of running a cycling team is being able to clean bikes, and we have to bang through 6 here in probably about the next hour before we go and move on to other things, so we have to be pretty efficient with what we're doing as well. Just going to introduce a few things. So one of the main things to wash bikes easily is having a great work stand. So we endorse Feedback Sports, so we actually buy these. These are a great little stand, all aluminium, so they're pretty light. As you can probably see, this one's had a fair bit of use. So she's looking a little bit under the weather, I guess you could say, but certainly one of the best stands going around. 2 types of stands. We prefer these ones because you can spin the bikes around them, so you don't have to move around the bike, you can move the bike around you. So one of the first things we do when we wash bikes is we take the back wheel out so we can clean the chain up pretty well. If you leave the back wheel in, you risk getting degreaser into the hubs, and we really don't want that because that really accelerates our wear. Also got to be really careful around the bottom bracket where our main bearings are as well, and the headset, because we don't want to strip the grease from places where they actually need grease. So got a little tool called a chain keeper. These are really easy to use, these guys. They just slip in up into the dropout. That way we can still turn the chain and run through the gears and run the chain through the degreaser. So first step, always a bit of water. Should mention this is Tommy's bike. He affectionately calls her Ruby. So she's seen some K. She's been to Belgium, France, Italy and New Zealand this year, as well as a whole lot of local racing. So it's a pretty well travelled beast, this one. Normally start with degreaser, so Pedalit's degreaser is Resurrection. So this is 1 litre, but it actually is a concentrate, so you can make a whole lot more out of it. If you're in a hurry, you can certainly just use it straight, but you will chew through it a little bit quicker. Best results in getting your chain nice and shiny again is a bit of degreaser in the bottom of our chain cleaner, which is a few other brands make them, but the Pedalit one is as good as any we've tried. We just pop that on the chain. And should just be able to run that through. So that's got a series of little brushes inside which help get into every nook and cranny of the chain. So keeping your chain nice and clean is really important. Not only will help with efficiency, but also greatly prolong the lifespan of the drivetrain. I'm still a bit of a sponge fan as well. I find that used in combination. So in there is just some of the Pedalit Resurrection. Splendor, which is their bike wash. Once again, this is like a super concentrate, so I think it makes about 20 litre, kind of equivalent about 20 litres. So one of those would probably get us through like 3 months worth of racing, so pretty good value, that stuff. Running the sponge over the chain just helps clean it out nice and proper like. So I reckon also the detergent helps. And because we've got the chain cleaner and we don't really need to worry about it going where it shouldn't be going. And I reckon if we give that a hose off, that chain should look pretty much new. So what I like to do, get an old paintbrush or something pretty similar and a bit of Pedalit degreaser, like we've watered this one down so it's not as tight, and just go over some of the greasier parts, so brakes, just where it kind of accumulates, just so it comes off a little bit easier. Trick to washing any bike is making sure you got the right tools. Pedalit do some awesome brushes. don't necessarily need to use a brush. Sponge works pretty well as well, but a bit of each seems to do the trick. Sponges are pretty good for getting in every nook and cranny. And in theory, that should come up pretty well. Next step is to clean our wheels up. So this isn't the wheel Tom started with today, so we had a pretty horrendous run with punctures. I think we had 5 for the day, so out of 6 riders, it's not really a great result. So and all at pretty inopportune spots. So we're just cleaning up the cassette, so just a little bit of that watered down degreaser, just to help shift some of that grease. So we're just trying to keep it on the cassette and keep it away from the bearings in the hub as much as possible. Then I just get an old brush, just give it a bit of a wash with some degreaser, and most of that grease should just come straight off. Just a bit of a brush treatment for the rims. It's pretty important to keep our brake surfaces clean. And then have a brush for all occasions, so just having a hub brush which you can get in between the spokes and give the hub a nice clean off. Some water. Trying to spray the water parallel to the wheel. We don't want to be going in this way because that's the way we're going to get inside the bearing. I reckon that's come up pretty well. And same for the front. And Ruby's pretty much good to go.